I must preface this remembrance of my mom by warning you that this is my reflection of mom, and it may surprise you one way or the other. So when it comes to sweet mom, I just want to apologize in advance if for any reason there's offense taken to what I'm saying. It's not the intention. These are just my thoughts, and I really am trying to honor mom and share the truth. Everyone has had their own unique experience in relationship to mom. To some of you, she's Diane, she's grandma, she's mom, she's sister Diane, she's Mrs. Vaz, cousin Diane. One thing we all know about mom is that she was a person who loved much. One thing Damon and I just found out recently, about 2 weeks ago, how mom showed some love to her neighbor Julius by cooking him a spaghetti dinner. And that was because she just had learned that Julius had lost his wife. And Julius is a single dad now, but mom felt it was necessary to show him some love in action and cook him a spaghetti dinner. We talked about that dinner because we know about mom's spaghetti dinners and how good they are, and we reflected with Julius just on how that's just how mom was. That's who she was. She saw a need, and she did what she could to fill it. Now, we all know about mom's amazing chocolate cakes. She called it a Sakatumi cake. The yellow cake with the double layered chocolate, her secret ingredient was sour cream, which made it really good. But did you know about her 16 bean soup? Or was it 15 bean soup? I can't remember. Was it 15 bean soup or 16 bean soup? She loved to make corned beef and cabbage every St. Patrick's Day. We would come over in March and hang out. We would laugh and pass gas. It was so much fun. Mom was very strong, even as she suffered with Crohn's disease. My earliest memory of mom just kind of dealing with the disease was she had to take this medicine called prednisone, and she hated prednisone. She said it made her crazy. That's what she said. And there were times when I can just remember, mom wasn't always herself, but she just seemed to always, even during that time, had a way to still remain positive, loving. Always throughout that, I just remember her leaving sticky notes around the house with positive messages, positive sayings. And in spite of the hardship that particular disease brought on, she still remained, in good spirits. Mom still continued to show love and to give, even at the time when she was suffering the most. Because of the disease, she stayed home. She was a homemaker. And her faith in Jesus grew at that time. Matter of fact, she believes that it was Jesus that completely healed her later on from the disease. But the way mom raised Damon and I is why we're the men that we are today. I do feel like mom instilled a sense of compassion in Damon and I, and a strong work ethic. And I really thank you, mom, for that. Mom always encouraged us to be the best that we could be, no matter what we did in life. Mom wanted Damon and I to be good people, good contributing citizens, good husbands, good fathers one day, good overall members, of society. Here's an example of what mom didn't want us to be like. Here's another one. And another one. I was really actually kind of confused. I'm not sure if mom actually liked black people growing up, or if there was just a certain way of being black that mom just didn't want us to reflect. She kind of had more of an idea of this. I asked mom recently, what do you think is your biggest accomplishment? And without hesitation, she immediately said, raising my sons to be the men that they are today. Mom taught Damon and I how to have an impeccable work ethic. I mean, the way that she meticulously kept the house clean, I believe in some ways I still suffer some trauma from that. I think that's one of the reasons why, even to this day, I despise cleaning the bathroom or cleaning the dishes. I don't even like to vacuum. Literally, like 3 years ago, I gave up trying to put the glasses in the cupboards in the specific order of their kinds, like according to their kind. I mean, does it really even matter? Yes, to Mom, that mattered. Details matter. Thank you for that, Mom. Mom was super amazing. She loved America. And during certain administrations, she would let you know how she felt about this country, and in some ways how she felt it was going to shit. For the most part though, Mom was she's a patriot. She really loves this country. Mom really had a strong sense of nationalism, and Mom had a great sense of pride for America. Now, if you want to take a deeper dive into that, by all means, be my guest. You can visit her Facebook page. It's still up, and you can see exactly where she stood on a lot of different issues. Mom's love for her family was deep and it was wide. And did I mention how much she loved to cook for us? Seriously, we looked forward to every year that Saketumi cake. It was delicious. Mom loved the grandkids extremely. She loved them. And whenever she could, she would make their sporting events, whether it be volleyball with Jordan or baseball games with Jaden. She was always at Bryce's football games, and she even managed to make some theatrical performances and dance recitals with Lauren. Mom even treated all of us to skydiving. Mom had such an adventurous spirit, and I'll love her always for that. Mom was very generous. One thing that was on Mom's bucket list was to visit Israel. In spite of the chronic pain that Mom felt in her legs, she worked up to that. She kind of ramped up, she would walk as much as she could to kind of practice, because you walk a lot when you're on a trip like that. Mom was so happy to be there. And even in spite of the pain of the walking, she loved it, and she celebrated with us how much she enjoyed that trip. Mom survived the pandemic. She survived the isolation. And Mom loved being around family, so that was hard for her. She missed her family very much during that time. So Mom had been a smoker for 58 years. And in spite of numerous interventions by many members of her family to quit smoking and to try to develop or pick up a healthier lifestyle, it was a hard thing for her to break. It was an addiction. And she had even mentioned that cigarettes had become her closest friends. And in some ways, I can kind of see that. Winston never nagged Mom to quit smoking. Winston never encouraged her to live a healthier lifestyle. Winston never encouraged her to get out and get some more physical activity. Mom really cared about all of us. She showed all of us love. But Winston didn't push back. Winston had a very special place in her life. Mom would eventually succumb to that nicotine addiction. It caused hypertension. She was diagnosed with peripheral artery disease. Those things combined led to a severe heart attack. During her life, though, Mom demonstrated how love is an action word. She showed love in so many different ways, like acts of kindness, demonstrations of compassion and patience, service to others. Mom demonstrated love in all those different ways. And the one way, though, that I think she didn't demonstrate so much love towards herself was self-care. And I'm still processing that. The thing that will always pain me, and hopefully will challenge all of us, is that, in spite of the compassion that we can share and the kindness that we can give, that, yeah, we need to take care of ourselves, but chemical addictions are real. They are serious. And I understand that there's ways that we can intervene and we can try to be, helpful. But there comes a point too where I think it might be more painful to actually be that person or be that source where you're trying to help someone overcome something that they feel like they can't, or they don't have the power to do so. One of the things that Mom had shared with me back in July, as we were talking again about, just trying to help her find ways, different programs to connect with, to help her smoking, maybe even different therapies to connect with, to give her maybe a different alternative type of connection to help her overcome this battle. One thing she shared with me was how she really felt that Jesus didn't give her the ability to overcome this challenge. And that was interesting to me that she would say that. She said this was the biggest challenge of her life, overcoming smoking. But I feel like in some ways she had some expectations on the Lord that maybe were not realistic expectations. Jesus healed her of her Crohn's disease. And I felt like she kind of maybe even expected some sort of miraculous healing with the nicotine addiction. And I tried to encourage her that, salvation is all God, all by himself. We don't, have a high five moment where we're going to be like, hey, Jesus, we did this, we did salvation. No, Jesus's death on the cross and his subsequent resurrection provided salvation for anyone, anywhere, at any time who will believe. And that's a one-way street. Jesus alone provides salvation. But Mom, in some ways, I feel like did feel that the Lord could have done more to help her with this addiction. And we talked about that a little bit. And I think at the end of the conversation, she was resolved that there was a need for us to do what we can do, all that we can possibly do, and exhaust every option that we have to end or at least get help for behaviors that are unhealthy or destructive. So chemical addictions are real, and they don't care how much we care or love others. Mom, thank you so much for sharing your love and your compassion, your kindness for others. I thank you for that. I'll always remember just how you loved, and I'll never forget that. And I'll never forget how much you loved all of us, in spite of all of our nagging you to just, develop healthier lifestyle habits. Mom passed away peacefully on September 21st, 2023, at her home in Aurora. She was napping, and the medical examiner said, it looked like she just got tired and just laid down and took a nap. Mom, you will always be loved. You will be missed by family near as well as family coast to coast and online friends. We love you, Mom.